This video was brought to you by Sight to Heart Inc. Contact them for all your video, photo, and graphic needs. What it is, what it do, what it is, lads and ladettes. The Grizzlies back again with more E3 predictions. This time is for the third party front. So let's get right into it. First off, I want to start off with Cyberpunk 2077. Now, honestly, I don't know much about this game. I don't think anybody knows much about this game, but it's looking like it's somewhat of a shooter. You see, CD Projekt Red, they've made Witcher 3, so I'm pretty sure they're in everybody's good graces. It's one of the greatest games of all time, maybe. One of the greatest stories, one of the greatest sellers. And while it might not be time for a new Witcher, Cyberpunk 2077 has seen, maybe some delays and not a lot of information. And it was quiet for a while until some months ago where on its Twitter it just said beep. And then some stuff would roll out here and there, but not a lot. So I'm really hoping that Cyberpunk 2077 shows up at E3 and lets us know, is it a first-person shooter? Is it a third-person shooter? Is it a strategy? What type of game is it? I would absolutely like to know. Moving on. Now, I'm hoping for a Bulletstorm 2 because the original got a remaster and the game is just absolutely awesome. And we don't receive many first-person shooters like this. It's fun. Everything is Call of Duty or Battlefield. And luckily, 2 years ago, we got Doom and we get Wolfenstein. And yeah, those are the games that we absolutely love. And they're heavy single-player campaigns. And we got Titanfall 2 with a great single-player campaign that is still just regularly overshadowed by Call of Duty and Battlefield every year. So I'm really hoping that we can get more arcadey-like shooters like Bulletstorm. And I really think it's time for a sequel. We just got a remaster on the current-gen consoles. Bulletstorm 1 was one of my favorite games, and I still play it to this day. So can we get a sequel, please? Moving on. Now, my top favorite game of 2016 was Doom. The remake, the renewal, whatever you want to call it, the game was awesome. They re-released it on the Switch just last year, and it was still as great. Took a bit of a graphical hit, but so what? The game still played great. It looked okay, and it was still a fun game. And the story was okay. It wasn't nothing too crazy, but it was really fun. And I love beating up demons, ripping them apart, and the fact that you don't really have to reload as much or anything like that. And it's like still very arcadey with modern day mechanics, and even the multiplayer was fun. I really just want to Doom 2, but please go big. Don't go open world. Please don't go open world. But let's go bigger, badder, with more demons. I can't wait to just beat up more demons. And that's also, I'm hoping to just appear on all platforms day one. Maybe even this year because it's 2 years later, or maybe sometime early in 2019. Let us move on. Now, I'm going to say that Bethesda's going to come out and they're going to have a great showing. Of course, we know of Fallout 76, but we don't know what it is. There's been rumors for it to be an online survival RPG game. And of course, we know it's going to be survival RPG because that is basically the main thing of Fallout. But as far as online goes, I don't know. I've seen mixed things about it on the internet. And I don't really think I'm the guy to speak about here because I've only really played Fallout 4. And didn't really finish it. I put like 30 hours in it and I was just like exhausted. But I thought it was great for what it was. And I'm not sure. I'm just very open to see what it is. If it's an online game, to see what it is. Is it going to be something like Elder Scrolls Online? Or is it going to be something entirely different? So yeah, I'm very open to that. And we know we're going to have more details for it come E3. And more from Bethesda, I think they're going to have an unannounced IP. It's been rumored that Starfield is something, some people compared it to maybe like Fallout in space, and there hasn't been anything. It hasn't completely been confirmed. We haven't really seen anything. So I'm just as curious as the next person. I'm hoping that it's something fun, great, maybe not too deep of an RPG because then they'll lose me, but I really think it'll be a pretty fun game because I trust Bethesda. They're actually my favorite third-party developer. Not just because they put anything on Nintendo Switch, but because they don't really give us anything heavily in microtransactions and everything's not centered around multiplayer. So, yeah, I think they should give us an unannounced IP. And I think we're also going to see some more Rage gameplay. I'm pretty sure we're going to see more Rage gameplay. Rage 1 is also another favorite game of mine. Story wasn't the best, but the gameplay was amazing. Gunplay was solid. I really felt like it felt maybe Mad Max meets Fallout-ish to me, and it's pretty straightforward. It's simplistic. It's open world, but it's still pretty condensed, so you don't really get exhausted, and you get to upgrade a vehicle, destroy other stuff. There's plenty of things to do it. And the trailer, I absolutely love the trailer. It looks like we're gonna have some extra moves and ground pound and some other things to do in the game, and it looks very arcadey and very fun. And like I said, I love these type of games, so I can't wait to see what they're gonna do in Rage 2, and that's due out next year, so we have more time to see more on this game. And let's move on. And I think to close out Bethesda, we are going to see an Elder Scrolls 6 teaser, because I'm quite sure we're not going to do it this year. I'm almost pretty sure that Fallout 76 is going to be due out this year, so we're not going to get an Elder Scrolls 6 this year. And yeah, let's just give us a little tease, and then maybe at the Game Awards in December we can get more, or sometime next year. Do what you did for Fallout 76 and just tease it on Twitch for like a day or two, and then boom, the big reveal. You just randomly show it to us. Everybody be hyped. The internet will explode. Let's get hyped. Let's get pumped. And let's move on. I'm actually hoping for EA to come out with a new Burnout. With them re-releasing what's this open world one? And I wasn't a big fan of it, but the Burnout with the open world, for the sake, I can't even remember the name of it, but they've remastered it and it was re-released and it's still pretty good. It looks better. And then we also got, I believe, Burnout Revenge on backwards compatibility. So ding ding ding, something's going off up here. That why are you releasing and putting forth effort towards Burnout right now? Maybe they have another one in development. I haven't seen any teasers or anything, but let's get a new Burnout, a proper Burnout. Nothing open world, just something with straight tracks, crash mode, everything. Give us another one. Burnout is a beloved series, EA. Why don't you do us right and you give us a new Burnout? Let's move on here. I think that it's time for a new BioShock. It's been maybe 6-7 years since BioShock Infinite, and maybe 2 years ago, I want to say, that we got a re-release of all of them, the 3 in the collection in this current gen, and all those games are great, but we need some new BioShock. I would absolutely love it. So give us a current gen BioShock, something new, maybe a sequel to Infinite something, and yeah, let's move on. I think Anthem might be the biggest showing of all the third parties, because this game looks like it's probably going to be a Destiny competitor, and we all know Destiny isn't on the good graces of everybody. Now, I think it's a great polished game with great gunplay, but, it kind of cuts us in half a little bit because, Activision and microtransactions and stuff like that. I'm not crapping on them or anything, but, I mean, if you're eating cereal, would you want oatmeal in it? So I don't really want microtransactions, but Anthem, if you're going to give us microtransactions and that, make it all cosmetic. Don't overload us. Don't, make it a shared world, great game. I think the aesthetics of the costumes and the Iron Man-like suits are awesome. The fact that you can fly, and it looks like the flying mechanics look pretty good. Then they went underwater, and you almost had me sold. I want to see more gunplay, more gameplay, more special. I want to see the enemies, first of all, because in the first initial trailer from E3 last year, there was a big enemy all the way in the back, and I can't wait to see how you interact with the world and all the enemies. And I really think that Anthem is definitely going to steal the show this year. So let's move on. All right, this one is a long shot. I'm going to be honest with you guys. We're getting a new NBA Street. Listen, NBA Playgrounds came out last year, and it launched so terribly that we recently got Shaq Fu for free on the Nintendo Switch. And Shaq Fu ain't bad. I mean, it's just, we need NBA Street. I don't care. I was playing NBA Streets Volume 2 about a month or two ago, and I said, let me just cut it on just for nostalgic sakes, and I played it for 5 hours straight. It's still very good. NBA Street Home Court was okay, but it wasn't NBA Street to the court. It seemed like you were really trying to mix realistic with the fantasy a little too much in that game, and give us NBA Street Volume 2. Even if you're going to remaster it something, or just completely use the engine from NBA Streets Volume 2 and give us an up-to-date one, fine. Do that, and you know what? I'm just going to bunch it in there. I want another fight from New York. I want to Fight for New York remastered, or I want a new one. Don't give us Def Jam Icon, okay? That game never happened. It never happened. Give us a new Fight for New York, a new Vendetta. I don't care, but we want one of these games. I think it would be very smart. Remaster it something. And then you can, trigger that to be like, hey, listen, okay, maybe they do want it because this game sold X amount of copies. Fine. So, NBA Street, shoot, bring back SSX Tricky, something. I don't care. Those EA Sports big games were awesome. So, yeah, it's a long